So let's just say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today is December 12th, 2016. Camera roll call.
Aaron's here. Caprows?
Here.
Whalen?
Here.
Coleman?
Here.
Basil?
Here.
Meyer? Here.
We have the minutes from November 28th. Any changes, corrections? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Aaron's? Yes. Caprows?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes.
We have the clerk's report.
The total tax income received since the last meeting, we usually do this once a month, and because we're one meeting short this month, we haven't brought in all the taxes for the month yet, so that's why there's a lot of missing areas in there. The total income so far from taxes is $120,973.94. Excuse me. I also have a thank you card from the family of Paul Lohman, addressed the Village of Beecher, sending each of you our sincerest gratitude for the flowers you sent. It is truly a special reminder of your friendship with Paul. Thank you, Sandy and family.
Just one question. The sales tax and the 1% sales tax, 1% is the infrastructure one, right?
Correct.
So these taxes are the same at 1%, but the 1% sales tax does not include groceries, so that's why those two numbers are different. It does not include groceries, pharmaceuticals, and vehicles. So that's why the two numbers, even though they're 1%, there's a difference between the two. This is probably the first full month of data that we're seeing.
Yes.
Anyone from the audience want to address the board? If not, the commission's beautification, trustee Aaron.
Our next meeting is going to be January, the second Tuesday in January at the Village Hall. We're not having a meeting this month. That's it.
Thank you. 4th of July Commission, trustee Coleman.
Nothing new to report at this time.
Youth Commission, trustee Kaporis.
Last month they had their Nerf gun wars, which was a big success. First year that they did that. It was really well received, and nothing in December, so they'll start preparing for the dances coming up. Daddy-daughter dance will be the next one. That's always in early February.
Thank you. Ribbon of Hope, trustee Basil.
The only thing new is the lights. I see the lights have been in place on the ribbon, and light them up at night. Lights up at night. Looks nice. That's all I have to report this time.
Historic Preservation, trustee Williams.
We have our meeting canceled for December. We're going to pick up the third Thursday of January.
I have a question of the commission's, the preservation memorial. Is there an expectation on the part of Public Works to have those areas clean of snow in the wintertime or not?
Definitely on the depot. We need to do that.
Okay, what about like the Veterans Memorial and the Cancer Memorial? There's brick pavers out there, and I don't know if you shovel or use a snow blower, if that's going to damage you know. That's, and you don't want to use chemical on it.
You can't throw, well, you could throw calcium chloride on it, I guess, because it's not going to mess up the bricks, but
But you got
other than
another stone in there too that you got to be careful about.
I mean, other than a push broom, I don't know, you really want to use a snow shovel? Yeah, you can't use a snow blower on there.
No.
It'll beat it.
It's a thought, maybe we can discuss it.
That's what,
Sounds good.
Winter's upon us now, and the Cancer Memorial was new, and someone asked me about the Cancer Memorial, but I never thought of the Veterans Memorial. It's never come up with
Truthfully, it's never thought about it before at all, and it's probably a very good point.
Yeah.
Once they're engraved, maybe we might want to, right now I don't think it really matters if they're cleaned or not, because they're not engraved yet. But next year, we might have to deal with that.
Yeah, there might be people in for Christmas or
They wanna
the
see the
holidays
brick.
and they want to see the brick and everything else. So you might have to use a push broom on there,
Well, yeah, that's about it.
clean them out.
Okay. Just wanted to bring it up for discussion.
Finance and Administration, trustee Moore.
Treasurer's report first.
Well, at the end of November, we had a total of $2,389,690 in our account with the village. And this is down quite a bit from the previous month. We had some heavy expenses, as you all were aware. We still are over last year's figure of $1,893,947. So we're following along as our routine normally does over last year's totals. You're familiar with the expenditures last year. Last month we had 3 payrolls. We purchased a public works truck. We made a large payment on our Illinois WPA loan of $112,493. There were a lot of expenses, but we still are in a very comfortable position.
That was our last payment, by the way, in the 1996 sewer plan. So for the next 2 years, when we start the new loan, that money we can bank,
Right.
probably use for engineering on the new plant. We got that $350 we gotta pay back.
Right,
But that was the last payment on the new plant.
right. And that's all it had.
I'd like to make a motion approving treasurer's report and report of financial activity for November.
Second.
So motion on the floor, and there was a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Meyer?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Capros?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
The variance reports for last month are enclosed for your review. And then as far as the bills, I usually go over the changes, but since I wasn't feeling well and never came in for the first batch, I would like to make a motion to approve, I went over these today. The bills for November in the amount of $182,947.93.
The only weird bill in here is the one to Heritage Landscaping.
Excuse me. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
For the motion, right?
Yes.
There's a second. Okay, not about one.
That bill, apparently, Bud, they came and sprayed for the weeds in May, but they never billed us. And it seems odd to be paying a weed control bill in December, but
Well,
apparently they never billed us for it.
I believe they came back in September and did a fall spraying to kill the dandelions, for weed
We
control.
looked, and I don't think we paid them anything in 16 calls the first bill.
No, that's why it was, I thought about it, but that's what the contract was.
Okay, just wanted to bring that up.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Aaron?
Yes.
Capros?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. There's a report enclosed on the fund balance comparison since 2007 for you to look at. State income tax update. There's an article from IML Magazine explaining the trending loss of state income tax dollars, which it doesn't seem like.
It's not affecting us. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But a lot of other communities are really complaining about it.
So just something they're keeping an eye on. There's an Illinois Public Finance Forecast Summit planned for Thursday, January 19th at the Westin Hotel Conference Center in Lombard. It's an all-day event with information on the economy and forms of tax tools such as TIF districts. And if anyone wants to attend, let the administrator know.
I had indicated to Bob today that I think I would like to go, so hopefully Bob will go, and then anybody else wants to chime in. I don't think anybody think we're going, so I'm getting it.
It's a Thursday.
I think it's a Friday, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's Thursday.
It
That's
is
the date
Thursday.
of our regular
Okay,
manager's
gotcha,
luncheon.
Thursday the 19th, yeah. Oh, you know what? I was looking
19th
at
is
the
a
wrong.
Thursday.
Yeah, and I won't be able to do that day, so. The 5-year financial plan has been released as a separate document and will be discussed at the January 23rd meeting. Finance Committee is going to meet Wednesday, December 21st at 2 o'clock to discuss refinancing of bonds with Mid-States Bank of Bloomington and to review the 5-year plan. If any of you are interested in coming along and joining the discussion, you are welcome. Comcast has served notice of a service change and rate increase. Again.
Yeah.
Wasn't that very recently this just came through? But anyway,
Once a year.
perhaps it's just me. Pardon?
It's probably once a year, at least.
And it just seems like it's. That is included. And then consider an ordinance establishing a travel expense policy for the village.
We have to pass an ordinance prior to January 1st, although it can be amended later. So the model ordinance was released just last week by the IML, and our village attorney has refined it. That is included in the packet.
1253.
1253. So I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1253, establishing a travel expense policy for the village.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, I have a question or comment. To my recollection, this doesn't really change what we've currently been doing for years, correct?
From what we understand, it's for per diems or reimbursement. So if you use the credit card directly for your stay, your lodging, or what have you, then this ordinance would apply.
And then also, I think a stipulation yours was that all the bills and everything would have to be approved by the village board, which we do.
They're approved anyway.
They're approved anyway, so.
But the problem is that apparently this law came about because there was some local government somewhere that were pocketing the money. So you would turn in a reimbursement request, maybe you didn't do the event, and you pocketed the money. This controls that, okay? But like when we go to IML conference, whatever, we use the corporate card to reserve the hotel rooms for those that go, and the trustee never sees the money. The elected official never touches the money.
Right, and I have a question about, we passed something as far as, we used to all go to the convention downtown. And I think years ago, we passed that 2 or 3 could go.
Right now, we're budgeted for 3, I believe, but if more than 3 want to go, Jeanette and I drop out. So almost 5 can go.
What it is that, if I remember right, the discussion was too, if there's a dollar amount there, and how many people can go for that dollar amount, we could go, but then when it goes over that dollar amount, then we have other avenues that we could go.
This would have no impact on that, Scott.
Okay.
That's strictly a budget
All right.
decision you guys make in the spring, is that
Okay.
how many people should be eligible to go. I would strongly recommend that any new elected official go to IML. I think, Frank, you went this fall as a new official.
Very interesting.
I know John and Brian went together that one year, but if you're newly elected, you should go to that conference.
Yeah, I highly recommend it as well. Any other questions, Scott?
No.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Whalen,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation, Trustee Whalen.
Okay, we have the ice rink up, should be open hopefully by the end of the week.
As long as we can, like I said, we gotta get on it and take the snow off of it. Snow's acting like an insulator, and when you step on it, there's, water pushing up on the sides, so,
Okay.
it's kinda up to the good Lord. But that's our plan, we'll check it first thing in the morning.
Okay. And if it's rough, you have your Zamboni.
Yeah,
right?
we got all sorts of tricks, so.
Okay. And when I say Zamboni, it's a broom, right? It's a
Well,
broom
it's
or
got,
a-
yeah, homemade,
A squeegee,
yeah, homemade.
you know?
I'm just telling you.
I don't want to say Zamboni because the people will be
Well.
looking for a,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
So-
works.
Now, what is going to tell people that it's open?
Well, the gates will be open,
Yeah, the light will be on.
yeah, the lights are on, the gates are open, and then, we still have the sign that we put up that has the hours on it. Nothing has changed.
Okay.
And I believe the lights, the police turn the lights off at, 10 o'clock at night? Or
Yeah.
10:30 on the weekends?
We
Yeah.
could send out notifications either through our information systems or lots of times some people post it on Facebook.
Right, because, it's hard to see if it's open or not, so, okay,
People have been calling the village hall.
Yeah, they already called, and a couple kids this morning.
good. I hope they use it.
And there were some miscommunications last year. Is that being handled this year? I believe there were parents that called in and wanted to know why the lights weren't on. So the lights were turned on and the rink wasn't supposed to be open yet, if we recall that.
I don't know who turned the lights on. I don't remember that story. Do you, what, as far as who turned the lights on?
We would turn them on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the police are supposed to turn them on or off. I don't even know that we're gonna need it with the new lights that we put out there. It's, well, yours is on are they on timers? Yeah,
We have a new fence around the building too, so you have to physically unpadlock the gate and swing
Right.
it open for it to be used this
I
year.
think this is the first year for that new fence.
it is.
Go out there and look at it.
Right.
Now, the plan is to increase the size of the rink next year, is that the plan?
Yes. Or maybe even keep it, you know, that's something we're gonna have to discuss. I know the plan is that, we will be, new liner and the kickboards that Jonathan and I had, it was, we cut it out of the budget, but.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different options that you can do with this. The nice thing was that last year was the first year with it, where we bought this system.
Right.
You know, when we first looked into this and did this, first put this thing up 4 years ago, you know, that was the plan, but we always framed it out of wood and did what we could afford. You know, we've set some money aside, we've got this newer system. You can go higher with the boards, which makes it nicer for playing hockey. You can keep adding on, increasing the size of it by buying bits and pieces as the years go on, without being committed to having to buy like a whole set at once. That's what's nice about this system, and it's good. And then, you know, as the years progress, you know, it's, you know, the Public Works Department, I think, and Scott can decide what route they want to go. If they want to add some more boards, and then the next year go a little bit higher with it, and then maybe, you know, whatever. But there's options that you can do with the system that's in place now versus what we had before. So.
Good. Okay, village receives employee safety grant of $4,300 from the insurance carrier to provide more safety measures for our employees. We are looking at using this safety grant to install intrusion and panic alarms and video surveillance at the village hall. So that's what we're planning on doing with that. Status of the village hall generator. The generator is up and working, but had to be taken off standby mode since it is producing what they call dirty power for sensitive electronic devices. Now, Bob, you want to explain?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to Buddy, because I believe they're gonna try one
Yes,
thing on
they're,
the generator on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, they're coming back in, they got they had discussions with Generac, their engineers, and instead of using a couple meters that they do to really fine tune it, there's another technique that they're gonna try and utilize, so.
So a Generac technician is actually coming out.
Yeah, and we'll be, you'll know, you know, Wednesday morning whether or not it works or not, and if it doesn't, then there was another, you know, there was a conference that was with Metro Power and the mayor and Bob and myself, and they came up with looking for different alternatives to get that generator replaced.
Right, yeah, because Metro Power field tested the unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was worthy of our use, and we're trying to hold them responsible for this.
And the concern that the mayor and I have is they could fine tune this generator. What if it gets out of tune again and damages equipment? You know, I'm concerned about that. They say it can't happen. I asked John that when he called.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, is it like a car? If it gets out of tune again, is it gonna do damage? And he said, oh no, once we get it tuned, it'll stay that way. I don't know, I got.
Well,
You know, it's a great generator for, you know, their well pumps or, you know, whatever, but,
I'm not optimistic.
We'll find out Wednesday night.
okay. That ends my report.
Planning, building, and zoning, trustee here.
Building department monthly report was imposed for your review. That ends my report.
Public safety committee, trustee Coleman.
Yeah, police department and, excuse me, and code enforcement monthly report are enclosed for your review. Any questions? If not, that completes my report.
Public works committee, trustee Kokoris.
Water Department monthly report along with Sewer Department monthly reports are both enclosed for your review. Penfield, Elm, Birch Street water main update. Bid opening has been set for Tuesday, January 17th, right here at the Village Hall. The Village Board can then consider the bids at our January 23rd meeting. There'll be a 120-day hold on the bids as we await for the IEPA to approve the bid and the loan. These reviews have taken 120 days or more. Again, we're at the mercy of the IEPA on this. And then, is it going to be Ray?
Yeah.
That'll be here. So Ray, our village engineer for this project, will be here January 23rd at the meeting. He'll kind of explain a little bit more, but it's
Park Forest had a similar loan for water main install. they had to hold that bid for 300 days until the EPA approved the bid and the contractor held his bid. But the state government right now is just, it's terrible. It's very disheartening, let's put it that way.
Well, you know, who knows who Park Forest was using for their engineering and that, I mean, that's part of the reasons why we use who we use.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of the things that you take into consideration when you do projects like this is who you're using with an engineering firm and the type of relationships they have with those people in those positions at the IEPA, so hopefully we're not looking at a situation like that.
All our ducks in a row, it's just a matter of getting them to sign up.
Exactly, excellent, okay. Consider a motion authorizing the village president to sign a contract with HR Green Engineers for the submission of biannual bridge inspection report for $1,500. That's the inspection for Carnal Creek Boulevard, something that happens every 2 years, so I will go ahead and I will make a motion authorizing the village president to sign a contract with HR Green Engineers for the biannual bridge inspection report for $1,500.
Motion on the floor, and there is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Aaron's?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Safe Route to School Grant Project Update. IDOT has now approved the beacons again. So they have been ordered. We hope they have the install date very soon on those. Illinois General Assembly considers new testing laws pertaining to lead in water. Nothing's been approved, but in the moving forward in the future, the village may need to track the number of water service lines that are lead. Those are by the homeowner, those are not the village's service lines, but we still need to report on those. Schools will also be affected by this. We'll see what comes of it, just an update. Leaf disposal contract with Smith Farms. It expires at the end of the season. Buddy Bob, you guys will start working on a new contract for another 5 years. Keep our leaf collection going the same as is. Consider a resolution regarding maintenance obligation on states of right-of-ways. This is a resolution that we adopt every 2 years. It allows us to make repairs to water and sewer lines in the state's right-of-way without a permit. So, you got a resolution number?
2016-09.
2016 what was it?
09.
09. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2016-09 regarding maintenance obligation on state of right-of-way.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Meyer?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Whaling?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Yes.
And last, the village meets with ComEd regarding streetlights on Chestnut and on Willow. Still, Bob's been stood up a couple of times, changing of hands with reps covering the area, with retirements, so on and so forth. We are still working on it.
The good news is it appears that we can run electric along the parkway from existing streetlights that are on the corners. If that's the case, we don't have to deal with easements. But we still have to get ComEd out there and get a doggone layout and a price for them.
We had suggested to let this person retire, bring a new person in, because if the retiree comes out, everything may get lost, and may have to start over again. So we said we might as well wait until the new person gets posted.
And plus it's so flippin' cold and snowy out, they're not gonna be putting poles in anyway.
They're retiring at the
She's retired.
calendar year.
January 1.
Yeah, January 1, so it'll be out first.
Okay. All right, that concludes my report.
Just a comment on leaf protection, or leaf pickup.
Collection.
Yeah, that. There was every intent to make one more collection this year, and that was the weekend that it snowed. And it was temperature was supposed to rise during the night, everything was supposed to melt, and they had planned on make one more leaf pickup during that week. And as we all know, it never rose, it froze, and they couldn't make the leaf pickup that week. So, and now we have what we have, so.
Yeah, you see where the plows went, the leaves are plowed.
Clouds are not, back in
They're back on there.
Yeah, brown snow.
I don't know if they'd still do it. I know that very week I had put my leaves in my gas pickup, and the garbage collector didn't pick them up.
Yeah, if you camouflage them,
I didn't.
they won't look in there. But also, if you put them in the bags, we still have our dumpster down at the end of at the
I
shop.
honestly believe, Bud, that from December 1 to April 1, there's an exemption in the law that they can put this stuff in the landfill, because they pick up Christmas trees.
I think they'll pick them up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
in fact, I put the sign on there, don't look at the can, and they still picked it up, but I think they will pick it up.
but either, even if they don't, I would probably say worst case scenario, they can still, if they have bags, they can still throw them in there, and we can still get rid of them if it becomes a nuisance down at the shop with our dumpster that we carry all year round.
Economic Development, trustee Beecher.
Okay, the village attends Will County Center for Economic Development annual meeting. At this meeting, we heard from the president of Illinois Chamber of Commerce and the North American logistics engineer from Amazon that talked about his company's commitment to Will County. Dean Fullerton, he's the director, and some of the stuff that he talked about, very impressive. Amazon on Cyber Monday last year, of course they didn't have this year's data yet, but Cyber Monday last year, it was 54 million items sold. That's 629 per second. That's how much they sold on Amazon. In the United States, they have 70 fulfillment centers, 149 worldwide, 90,000 full-time employees, and then during the holidays, they kick it up to like 120,000. Said they're always hiring, and in Will County alone, we have 5,000 employees of Amazon, soon adding another 1,000. And there are 6 fulfillment centers in Illinois, 2 in Joliet, 2 in Edwardsville, 1 in Romeoville, and 1 in Monee, soon to open.
It's almost
All
right.
right. Yeah. And Will County is doing real well. I guess in the last 10 years, they went from 15, which was astounding what I thought, 15 million square foot of manufacturing to 150 million square foot, 10 times what they had in 15 years. So it is growing, and a lot of that is from Amazon, for sure, but there's other companies too. One of the things that Amazon, what he was talking about, is their employee benefits. It sounds like it's phenomenal. 401ks and stock options with the company. Also tuition for school and these career choices where they pay for your tuition and schooling, I think after 1 year with the company. And then you can go on to another company, but they're just trying to educate their workers and keep a portion of them. He says 8,000 people's already been through that program with them. So, any questions on it? Bob, anything else?
No,
No, that was pretty good, huh? All right, Gould Street Boardwalk update. The committee will be meeting with Mike Stanula on December 29th to go over prints for the boardwalk. What time was that, Bob? Was that 2?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Okay, indoor billboard project. The village and the chamber are involved in a project where a vendor sells video ads to local businesses, and they are displayed in the lobby of the Beecher businesses such as Metro Eye Care, Dr. DeForest, and the dentist offices in town. The village hall, the library, and the Princess would be other locations for such billboards. The video screen is a 40-inch high-def TV, and the ads change every 20 seconds. There is no volume. This is another way we can promote the local businesses and provide them avenue to get their message out. This project would be only for Beecher businesses.
I put a couple of stipulations when I met with the person that they had to be endorsed by the chamber. So I didn't end up with 6 TVs in the lobby. We were doing this because the chamber is asking us to do it. And we also have the opportunity to put messages on there concerning community events as part of the rotation, because they don't want ads constantly on there. They want to keep people's interest and show community interest stuff on there. So It's up and running in Crete. I think, John, you said you've seen it in Crete?
Yeah, it's actually where, yeah, at the
It was
place I get
something,
my
Where
haircut, so.
where do they have it in Crete?
The place I get my haircut, Village Hair Studio. Just been cutting my hair
Crete
since I
City
was
Hall's getting
8
one
years old.
for
But
their.
it's not, there's just got music, you know, it's just nothing, you know, crazy or anything like that. It's just a nice low tone music that plays, and it's just a screen that just sits there, and it's all, that one's all Crete, so.
So when you're in Dr. DeForest's office in the middle of the day sick, you don't have to watch soap operas, you could watch
Yeah.
the ads for
You can watch ads for,
we saw something similar to that at the IML conference.
Yes,
And
you
we
did.
liked it, we
Yeah.
liked it a lot, so
Huh.
that's good. That ends my report.
Laraway Dispatch, Bob's had this on the agenda for quite some time, and I've taken it off the agenda because there's been so much arguing going on that we didn't know which way it was gonna go. It's now gotten to a point where we think we're getting down to the nitty gritty where the bylaws would be approved, and or we would ask the IGA that's included in our packet to be presented to the village board. Therefore, we've basically given that to you to digest, and then there actually is a couple more meetings scheduled, so it could change. But just to give you an update, it's reading material for your knowledge. The meetings have been terrible. They've been,
contentious.
okay, but very demeaning, very just, I think it's very uncalled for, but the bottom line is the end result that if you read this in the packet, no matter how they got there, I think it's fairly acceptable at this particular point in time, provided nothing dramatically changes, which it could. So, bottom line is the intent was to save us money. It is currently going to save us money, and any additional towns that could come on board, which there is one, is possibly gonna save us some more money. So, if it wasn't gonna save us money, which at one time that appeared it was going to be the case, that was, and if the only exemption we could ask for from the state of Illinois, we could stay as we are. Since that time, they've worked out the figures that it now will save us money, so we no longer have an argument that we are going to be forced to do this. Now, we can decide to go elsewhere. Right now, I don't think we should. I think we should stay with this particular center, but if something goes wrong or something changes or something like that, we do have the option of going anywhere. We're independent agencies. I do think the police and us, police and fire should go to the same spot, but other than that, we have no commitment to have to go where EastCon goes per se. We're all separate entities. But right now, I think we've worked out a lot of issues, and hopefully in the upcoming meetings, they'll be calmer. I tried to host a meeting to try to get the calm to prevail, and not a lot of the mayors stepped up to their plate and said, yeah, they attend. So the cities are primarily the problem, in my opinion. That's basically the gist of it.
versus the cities versus the villages.
Pardon me?
The cities versus the villages.
Oh, the fire districts.
Just villages.
Oh.
The villages, the fire districts seem to be fairly happy with what's occurring,
And the sheriff.
and the sheriff, and Will County. The villages, municipalities are the ones that seem to be arguing over different issues, which Bob and I we've talked about this in the beginning. It was supposed to go one way, it didn't go that way. It calls for bringing in another town in, that was supposed to be done after the fact. And talking to some of the mayors and talking with Bob, it doesn't really matter to us who their customer is, as long as it doesn't affect our bottom line, doesn't affect our citizens, and doesn't affect our public safety personnel. They can have Egypt in there for all as we care, as long as it doesn't affect anything that we do in our costs.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where are they looking at locating this?
It's already being built on Laraway Road.
Laraway Road?
Yeah. And next to the sheriff's
Laraway
station.
and 45.
At the time when this first started, that if this still doesn't come to fruition, which it could, if a lot of these towns decide to go their separate ways and the numbers don't come out right, the sheriff just simply said he'd use the space. The sheriff is our landlord, and then we are a separate entity that we're trying to form, and there's been a lot of argument over the separate entity. That's the long and short.
Yeah, the model that we have recently adopted as a finance committee works much better than the first model, where they decided they were going to co-locate as opposed to consolidate, which means everyone's job is safe, and we're going to pay the highest salary on the rack. So in other words, all the dispatchers would be paid Romeoville dispatcher rates, because Romeoville is part of this deal. Well, that budget number went up to $6.2 million or whatever, and then everyone had to pay more. Well, we're gonna file for a variance because this is not cost effective for us, and the state law says we can file. Well, then they finally realized what the east side was gonna do, and now they have a new model of consolidation, reducing the number of employees, and the budget got down to 5.3 million. So that number works for us. It will save about, right now, about 12 grand a year.
And if this other municipality comes in, which I think they will come in, it should lower our budget even more.
But again, that's a fluid number, it could change. We'll show you the model when we consider the IGA, but I can't show you a final number because it could change.
The next mayor's, South Suburban Mayors and Managers meeting is gonna be close by. It's gonna be at Scrimeni's in Stager. It's on January 19th at 6 p.m. The meeting starts with a dinner afterwards. If anybody wants to go to that, please let us know. We'll make the reservations for you. We go as a group.
The mayor and I are definitely going.
Yeah.
It's also the same date as the finance and TIF
Lombard.
meeting. Yeah.
The Lombard meeting.
What's the date, 19th?
January 19th. Yeah, it's close by, so I'd encourage you to go. This is one of the boards that I'm on. And then, just a reminder, there is no meeting on Monday, December 26th, so the next meeting will be January 9th. Is there any other old business to come before the board? Any other new business?
Just one.
And I have something to.
Okay, we received notice in the mail today that Bernard Welding has applied for and EPA has approved, subject to public notice requirements, a new 5-year operating permit on their sewer treatment plant down there. So that may explain some of the reason why they've kind of backed off again from redesigning the plant. Apparently they came up with some kind of process or design that's gonna buy them another 5 years down there. So that might be off the table for a few years. Thanks a lot.
Under new business, tomorrow night, the township has its senior Christmas party, which we are invited to. If anybody'd like to go to that, let us know tonight. And then we'll try and make sure we have a table for whoever wants to go tomorrow. It's at 6:30 p.m. at the Ambets. And then, probably last but not least, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, safe holiday season. And after adjournment, we'll see you all next year, if not sooner. We do not have a need to go into executive session. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made. Second?
Second.
Second. Any questions on the motion? Anybody want to stay longer? Roll call?
Aaron?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Thank you.